Hi everyone. Okay, so this is going to be my third book review, and I'm going to be doing Jamie McGuire's Walking Disaster. And I don't know how many of you watched my previous book review on Beautiful Disaster, but this is going to be the exact same book, but instead it is in Travis's point of view. So Jamie wrote this book and got it published in 2013. And like I said in my previous book review for Beautiful Disaster, I was very curious on a few of Travis's decisions and on his past. And I noticed on Jamie McGuire's website that she was publishing this book. So since I read Beautiful Disaster, I decided I was going to read Walking Disaster by her. So the back of this book says, "Can you love someone too much? Travis Maddox learned two things from his mother before she died: love hard, fight harder." In Walking Disaster, the life of Travis is full of fast women, underground gambling, and violence. But just when he thinks he is invincible, Abby Abernathy brings him to his knees. Every story has two sides. In Beautiful Disaster, Abby had her say. Now it's time to see the story through Travis's eyes. So I really did enjoy Beautiful Disaster, but I'm not exactly sure if I can say I enjoyed Walking Disaster more, but it was very similar. So, I mean, it was a little harder to get into because it was pretty much the exact same stuff as Beautiful Disaster, but it was Travis's point of view, which I found very interesting because there was more of his history and his background and what made him be how he is. And it describes why he does the fighting in the fight rings. It describes why he actually nicknamed Abby Pigeon, and it describes his feelings about what they did in Vegas at the end of the book, and also has an epilogue, unlike the other one did. This one has an epilogue, which kind of goes into the third book, which is all A Beautiful Wedding. I haven't read it yet, but I will. And so like I said, it's also going to be a young adult, a teen book. It's appropriate. It had nothing really major. It has his thoughts instead of Abby's thoughts, which we already know. We have Travis's thoughts. And when we were just with Abby and her friends and we were wondering where Travis was, this says where Travis was and what he was doing the entire time they were broken up, his trains of thoughts, why he was fighting so hard for her, why he let her go, and a whole bunch of things like that. So I really liked it because it kind of got rid of all my curiosity about what Travis was doing. So if you've read Beautiful Disaster, or if you've just read Walking Disaster, I suggest to read Beautiful Disaster. If you've read Walking Disaster, if you've read Walking Disaster, or if you've read Beautiful Disaster, I suggest to read Walking Disaster because it fills in a lot of blanks, to be honest. So, I mean, she could have made it one book and just flipped back and forth in chapters, but I like how she made it two separate books instead because it prevents confusion a lot, because I would have been very confused if it was just one big book. So I liked how she read it. I liked how she chose to make it two separate books. I didn't really like some of the events just because it made me mad, because I wanted it to happen a certain way, but Miss McGuire decided to make it happen a different way, so it made me mad, obviously, like it would make anybody mad. And overall the book was actually, it was pretty predictable, but there were points where you could not predict what was going to happen. Just like Beautiful Disaster, it's really easy to read. It's definitely high school, junior, senior, sophomore level. There's not a lot of mature content. I mean, there's some like swear words here and there and some like minor sexual references and stuff like that, but it's nothing major that's inappropriate for young adults and high schoolers. So like I said, it's just like Beautiful Disaster, just in Travis's point of view, and it adds a few different events on what Travis was going through instead of Abby. So it takes away some events that were just involved Abby, and it adds events that just involve Travis. And it's completely Travis's point of view, nobody else's point of view. So I'd recommend it if you have read Beautiful Disaster and you are curious what Travis was thinking. So yeah, it's about 433 pages, just like Beautiful Disasters in the 400s, I believe, too. I don't think I said that last time. But it's a little longer book, but like I said, the print is pretty big, really easy to read, easy to follow. So I finished it really fast because I was into it, because I was curious. And then at times I got kind of bored because it was the same stuff again, but it is a little different, and it just kind of gets rid of your curiosity of what you were wondering what Travis was thinking. So it sells for $15 in the US, so a little cheaper than Beautiful Disaster, but I think you can get them at Barnes & Noble or on eBay for a lot cheaper, or I'm sure you could get it in the library. So yeah, I would suggest to read Walking Disaster if you've read Beautiful Disaster, because it does satisfy a lot of your curiosity. It has some of the same events, like a fire, the Vegas stuff, the college stuff, still some of her Abby's history that you found very interesting, like her dad popping up and causing a whole bunch of drama. It has Travis's history with his family more. If you really love the Maddox brothers, I mean, I love them. They're intense family. I mean, it's a little more into the Maddox family and his brothers. It goes more in depth to the Thanksgiving, what happened on the Thanksgiving day, why when Abby decided she was ready to get back into it, he decided he wasn't going to be back into it because he was going to be the better person and let her go. So read Walking Disaster and Beautiful Disaster. It's really good. Bye.